Hello everyone, welcome to the RAF Esports F1, well, the Interservices team, and the Interservices are underway at Hungary. Sorry, it's a bit delayed, some stream issues, so let's get started. Right now we have George out on track, and also we have Phoenix, Proven, and the Asset. Jack Goring has just left the pits as well. So I'm pretty sure George is starting his current lap. By the looks of it, there is caution in Sector 1. That must be someone coming out of the... Ooh, we've got a driver off track. Looks like Tomo has had a bit of a moment there. Oh, Jack Lemon has had a bit of a moment. And we'll go back on to George looking at his first lap. So, Hungary. I haven't got my notes up. Sorry. So, Hungary is the third shortest track in Formula 1 at the moment. And we have a fastest lap by Case Breyer. The first lap being Hames at a 1:18. Unknown has gone into the... is still in the pit, so I'm assuming he is currently waiting till the track evolution has gotten better. And as George comes across the line, he sits in second place at a 1:16.2. Next person is Proven in the McLaren at a 1:15. I think this track we're looking at like a 1:14s, 1:13s possibly. Right, who is on a lap? So we have, I think Tomo is on a lap right now, so we will watch him and see how he does as one of the McLarens gets out of the way, so he's able to carry on with his lap. And there is someone may have had a moment in Sector 2 by the looks of it. And Unknown has started his outlap, so it'll be interesting to see what time he gets, while Phoenix is sitting in P1, but can... Yes, he can. Tomo is now in P1 at 1:15.2, so slowly getting closer to the 1:14 mark. As we have... is Jack Lemon on a lap? He could possibly be on a lap. Or he is going into the pit, so I think he may have had a bit of a moment. Next person who possibly is going onto lap is Unknown. And let's see how he does. So, a bit of information about the track. So, the person with the most poles at this track at the moment is Hamilton, and the most wins is by Hamilton, with 8 altogether. The race lap record was in 2020, and Nemesis has just hit... Yeah, and Nemesis is now P1. Yeah, so the lap record is a 1:16.627, which is very, very quick. Let's see if we've got anyone about to... or is on a lap, and let's go on board with player Gibbs, as he is currently on a lap by the looks of it. This corner's quite a hard corner with a chicane and then going out. I find it quite tricky in the track itself, but he kept it in a great exit. And he goes straight into the pits. Okay. And let's see. Okay, we've got a few people who are on outlaps right now. So I don't know who came out of the out first, but we will keep an eye on Case Breyer, see how well they do. They're currently at a 1:16.2. He's got about a second to try and improve by as he takes the lap. Let's go on board and see how he does. And the traffic coming out of the pit, slow down and let him pass as he's on that hot lap. So although they're slow, the dirty air might still affect them slightly. And he keeps that corner within the lines, which is good because that's one of them that is very hard to keep on track. You can go very wide. Ooh, and there was a bit of a moment there, but he still keeps his foot in and saves it from spinning out, which is good. We've got a few more people coming onto outlaps, and as Case Breyer goes around the final corner, let's see where this puts me. He's P8 at the moment, and he stays in P8. I think that mistake may have cost him slightly. Let's go on to George. Ooh, and as we go on, George is into the barrier. Must have had a bit of a moment, a lock-up, bit of loss on traction. So he will not be improving. Let's see. Phoenix is, I think, currently going on to a hot lap. Let's have a look from this view, see how his lap goes. So ideally, Phoenix would like to beat Nemesis by quite a bit. So these are the two leading drivers in the championship, if I remember correctly. So it should be an interesting fight with them. After the last race, Nemesis had a really good run. Phoenix was just unfortunate and has a bit to prove this race to try and secure that P1 position. And by the looks of it, this lap is looking like a very, very clean lap. So it's going to be interesting if he can beat Nemesis's time, who has just crossed the line and is in the 1:14s. So what can Phoenix do? Can he get that time that he needs? And no, he can't. So he may be going out for another lap after this one to try and get that pole position. Who have we got? Jack Lemon, I think maybe on a cooldown, but we have a Williams, which will be player Gibbs, that is on a hot lap. Let's see how he does. He is currently in P8. So Hames is on an out lap at the moment. He will be setting a hot lap in a minute, and he will be hoping to get out of P12 in his 118s and trying to get into the 117s, maybe 116s. And here we go. Let's see what player Gibbs gets, and he jumps to P4 at a 1:15.3, so not far off P3, which is amazing. Let's have a look and see who the next person is out. Tomo is not on a lap at the moment. We've got quite a few people that are going into the pits. We've got Hames on his hot lap, trying to beat the time that he's got on the board at the moment. He's coming through the chicane, doesn't want to clip those sausage curbs too much because you can spin out. And let's see how he does. Now everyone's going into the pits at the moment, getting ready for that crucial last lap. Unfortunately, Hames isn't going to be able to go out for another lap due to... I don't think he'll get into the pits in time. And what does he set? He sets a 1:17.848. That's good. Setting up for the... He probably can jump a few people in the start. Personally, I prefer starting near the back, just so if there's anything that happens in that first corner, you can back out of it a lot more than when you're in the middle of the pack. So we're just on a out lap. So K-Spire isn't pushing at the moment, but when he gets around this corner, he will most likely switch the ERS mode to medium, and maybe a dab of battery going through this main straight to try and get the maximum amount of speed. Someone has just come out of the pits, and they will come off the racing line as a bit more ERS has been deployed. I'm pretty sure that was another car that was off track then. And let's go to, I think it's turn 6, this one, where you slingshot your car and hope for the best. So K-Spires, like, oh, that was a lot of sausage curb then. Don't know if that will affect his time, but might affect a little bit, but with the track getting better, it may not have made too much of a difference. And he stays in 9th place. Let's see, who is about... I keep pressing buttons. Me and buttons don't go well together. Okay, let's see who is on a track, on a lap even. The Aston Martin of Jack Goring is on a lap by the looks of it. So let's see what he can do. Jack Lemon is going on to an out lap. He must be very close to the start finish line. Yes, he is. He is on a lap as Jack Goring is doing well. He's not made any crucial mistakes except that little bit, but that was just the back end being a bit loose. And Nemesis has set the fastest time, which is a 1:14.571. Right, and P6, the Aston Martin finishes. People who have finished: Hames, Unknown, George have all finished. And Tomo has just finished his lap. Sure, we will sit on Phoenix. Hasn't gone much faster. We've got we've got Jack Lemon out, and let's see what he sets. And does not improve. So this is the order for the race. So you've got Nemesis P1, Phoenix, Tomo Proven, Player Gibbs, Jack Goring, the Asset, Jack Lemon, Case Breyer, George, Unknown, and Hames. So it's going to be a very interesting race at the front of the pack. I think there'll be quite a few battles at the back as well to try and secure some valuable points to the session. And now we just wait for everyone to get ready to race, choosing the setups. So I clicked the wrong button. No, I didn't. So we can see how many tires everyone used. So Jack Goring only took 2 tires. So that would have, if he'd taken all 3 sets, he may have improved, but it wouldn't have been guaranteed because it's the track regeneration. Ooh, and it looks like there's rain. This is going to be a very interesting race. So I know a few people who have practiced in the rain, so they know what it feels like to be racing when it's wet. It's not something you really want to have when you're racing. I think this is the second Interservices race, and the first session that we've had that's been rain. So it will be quite interesting to see what tyres everyone goes for. So I think people will choose Inters because they just work better. Unless the rain gets really bad, then they may jump into wets. But because of the rain, I feel like the safety car will be very likely. Normally in this track, the safety car probability is 38%. And that will be good if you want to get a pit stop in, because it will bring the time that you're in the pits. Get the time that you're in the pits down, so you won't be losing as much time. Normally you'd lose 20.8 seconds. So the elevation of the track is about 26.8 meters, and they're full throttle pushing for 50% of the lap, which is a lot, with a max speed of 198 miles per hour. So when they start the race, there's only 476 meters from pole to breaking point of turn 1. So a lot can happen in turn 1. So I was racing it on Monday, and it comes up quite quickly, and there was a lot of everyone trying to gain position, so it can be a chaos start, but hopefully we will not have any early safety cars or crashes on turn 1. You don't get the DRS until you're on the second lap. You've got 2 DRS zones which are near turn 1, so you get the main straight and then a little bit after turn 1. And I'm pretty sure there's another point. I don't know why this is taking a long time. Normally it would already be in there. Yeah, so people are choosing their setups. Obviously, they can't change much to their car. I think they can tweak a few wing settings. I think it's like the front wing they can tweak by a little bit, and then the next bit that they can tweak is the other tyres, so they can choose when they go for their pit stop. Obviously, inters or wets to start off with. If it ends up being a dry race, they'll then have more time. If it ends up being a dry race, they can change to the correct tyres. Now, as we go on to the formation lap, we've got Nemesis leading the pack on the formation lap. Let's have a look at the tyres that people are using. Right, the detail. Right, so we have Nemesis on inters, Phoenix on wets, Tomo on inters, Proven on wets, and then we've got Gibbs, Jack, the Asset, and Jack Lemon all on inters, Case Breyer on wets, George on inters, Unknown and Hames on wets. So we've got a few people decided to go on wets. So I wonder if it's going to be a full wet race. We will need position change, gap 2. Right, there we go. And we've got 2 people that have been disqualified from the formation lap. They will be racing in the main race. It just means they haven't had that crucial lap of warming up their tyres, engines ready for the race. Now, what the drivers are looking for when they park their cars in the correct grid slots without So we've got the possible race strategies. So it's going to be a rainy race, the whole race. The game is predicting to go into wets. However, not today. Not for some of these drivers. So, the lights. This is a long pause. Go green, and away they go. It's a slow start, but they're all making their way to turn 1. Nemesis has kept that P1 position. Proven has taken a space from Tomo as he goes wide. You have quite a few people drop, and oh, we've got a driver that is off track. And as we carry on, by the looks of it, Phoenix is gaining. Ooh, Phoenix had a bit of a moment there. Phoenix was gaining, he is now not gaining. Jack Goring is now in P3, just overtaken Proven. And let's see that battle at the front. Phoenix is dropping slightly, but it is a very wet track at the moment. They don't want to push too much until a dry line starts to form. As the gap gets bigger, Jack Goring is closing the gap onto Phoenix. So, is he going for a move? No, he backs out of it. He may be able to get him on a straight, as they are making a gap between Proven, and they're all over a second away from the top 3. Now, can Jack do anything along the straight? By the looks of it, no, he can't. He's not got the speed, as Phoenix is looking. He is getting closer and closer to Nemesis. I think this track today is going to be quite hard to overtake because it is on wet. By the looks of it, the intermediate tyre looks like it's proving to be good at the front of the grid against the wets that Phoenix has. As for towards the back of the grid, by the looks of it, there isn't too much movement. Hames has gone up 1 position, and the gaps are widening. Hames is closing on the asset. So possible pit stop could be at lap 23, which will be a very long, hard race. If the rain continues, could be wet, and if it doesn't continue, they could look at getting a different tyre as Phoenix closes that gap onto Nemesis. He is pushing in those wets. It's not doing him any good sitting behind Nemesis due to the spray of the other car. But again, you don't want to be at the front of the leading the pack, although you have, as you know, you do want to be at the front of the track as Phoenix goes wide on that corner there. And Jack Goring is catching up as well. I think they're sticking very close to each other, so they're not deploying much battery either, so they are just sticking together as all the gaps behind are getting bigger. The closest other gap that we have is between Hames and the Asset. Let's see what action they have at the back. So Asset is on Inters and Hames is on the Wets. And as we've just seen from the fight at the front, the Inters are doing better than the Wets at the moment, as the gap widens from the Asset. Oh, okay. Never mind. Asset has just been overtaken by Hames on those wet tyres. And does Asset try and re-overtake? As at the front, Jack Goring is getting closer to Phoenix, as Case Breyer has just had a penalty. 3-second penalty for corner cutting. Let's go see at the front, Jack Goring trying very hard to stick with Phoenix and Nemesis, as he is probably thinking, when is the best time to overtake on this track? So altogether on this track, there are 14 turns altogether, with 2.73 miles of track each lap that they cover. There's 6 left-hand turns and 8 right-hand turns. As Jack goes for the move, can he make it stick? Does he have enough grip? And oh, there's a bit of a moment. I think there was contact then. So Jack Goring has backed out of that move after a little bit of a tap. He's probably thinking, the next lap I need to be closer, as they both go wide on that corner. Both most likely getting track limits, but they are pushing hard to keep up with Nemesis, which is very close to breaking that 1 second gap. If anything, staying this close to Phoenix is gotta be hurting those tyres. Will we see Jack Goring trying to overtake Phoenix, as they both are recharging their battery? This is the closest fight on track. I think when it comes to pit stops, and that is Phoenix in the pit. He is pitted early, same with Proven. So maybe they're going to switch to the Inters and go the full 29 laps on Inters. There's a few people in the pits, so this is gonna mess up the order, as you've got Nemesis, Jack Goring, Tomo, Player Gibbs, Jack Lemon, George, and Asset all opting to stay out. Now, they're not going to be boxing for a long time, I don't think, because they started on those Inters, which crucially they will use the most tyre wear as possible until they have to go for their stop, and then we'll see what order it will be. Now, Nemesis has broken that 1 second gap to Jack Goring, as he is still going much quicker and catching up slowly. As we go to further down the field to Tomo, he is racing but he can relax a bit, but still push, because when he has that pit stop, the proper order will be shown, as Jack Goring has just made the fastest lap at 1:35.7. Next person that we'll look at is player Gibbs. Again, chasing down Tomo. Bit of a gap, but if he keeps pushing, he will end up overtaking. Great line. And George is closing on Jack Lemon. So let's see how they do. So is George going to try and overtake Jack? Possibly. Or are they just going to sit behind? Asset is closing up in the fight. Do you think he's got a lot of pace to overtake? I think Asset's got a lot of pace that he hasn't shown at the race at the moment. So crucially, he needs to overtake and push as much as he can to get the most usage out of the tyre that he has. And Phoenix is in the background, trying to catch up as quick as possible. Now, I think that's the tyres. Everyone is now on Inters, so the Inters, the top 7 cars have done 7 laps on these Inters. So their tyres will be hurting quite soon. So Phoenix is rapidly catching up to Asset, and I don't know if Asset will fight it, or if he will let it be an easy pass. But we will see. And then everyone from 7 onwards will need to pit. Now you've got teams, so you've got a few teams mixed in at the top. So they're not going to double stack. They are going to keep one driver out as long as possible. So whoever's the first driver will probably have priority who pits. Now player Gibbs is driving the Williams. He doesn't have to worry about another driver, as his teammate couldn't make it today. The gaps are just getting bigger and bigger. The closest fight on track is the Asset with George, and George catching up to Jack Lemon. Phoenix has closed that gap to 2.5 seconds to Asset. So he will be joining that fight in a few minutes. I'd say maybe 2-3 laps, if that. I think Phoenix will have overtaken. Now the question is, so P1 Nemesis, is his strategy going to work? Is he going to push as far as he can, then box, or is he going to box sooner rather than later, to the point where he is able to keep the P1 position? It all depends on how much Phoenix is pushing right now. So, but by the end of, by the time Nemesis has pitted, his tyre wear will be a lot lower. Again, not much change, but there is. Jack Goring is slowly closing that gap on Nemesis. Now, it is the closest battle on the track, while as Phoenix is now 0.8 seconds away from Asset. So let's see how quick Phoenix can get this move done. If he gets it done, ideally he wants to get as many overtakes as possible. But he knows he's behind people with tyres that are a lot older, and they will probably be holding the grid. So Asset will be wanting to hold Phoenix behind him as long as possible to help his teammate in P1 Nemesis. So it will be team games to try and stop Phoenix from passing Asset. If Phoenix passes Asset, then you've got George in the Aston Martin, and his teammate is in P2. So ideally, if George and Asset play team games, help their teammates in front, they both can, although they're not teammates, they both can stop Phoenix from getting through, as the gap in front to Jack Goring has closed a lot more. But this is the most interesting battle on track. It'll be interesting to see if Phoenix will go for a move. He's thinking about it. He chooses not to. He doesn't want to get that lock up and go into the side of Asset. So this battle will be going on for another lap. Do you think Phoenix will pass as we ride on board with Phoenix? Let's ride on board with Phoenix, see what he can do as Jack Goring closes the gap by a lot on Nemesis. I think Nemesis's tyres are wearing slightly, so Nemesis may be looking to box in the next 2 or 3 laps, allow Jack Goring to use his tyres in clean air to try and get as much, or pull away from the pack as much as possible, as Phoenix is still behind in a DRS train because everyone will be using the battery at a similar point. Does he overtake into turn 1 on this lap? He had a bit of a bad exit there, but will he still manage to? I don't think he will. He will be... Oh, he's going to try going on the outside as the Asset squeezes him, and there was a bit of contact, and Phoenix goes wide, tight but wide into that corner and takes P7. Next person for Phoenix to overtake is George, as Unknown has just had a 3-second penalty. Player Gibbs is still in the fight, gaining on Tomo, and has just overtaken. There is caution in sector 2. And I think there's been a moment for Tomo. Yeah, I think Tomo and Player Gibbs has just had a moment. Let's head back to Phoenix with the closest fight on track. See how it is going. So, Bomber, the Navy, Unknown is P12, Hames is P11, and Case Spryer, I think his Navy here, is sitting at P10. Player Gibbs, I think, is one of your drivers as well. I'm not entirely sure. as we still ride on board with Phoenix, getting closer and closer to this Aston Martin. Ideally, George needs to hold his place in P6 to help his teammate stay in P2 and get that crucial win for his team. Asset is quite rapidly catching up to Phoenix. So Phoenix is making some mistakes, and as you can see, Asset is really pushing to try and secure that position back, because he knows he wants that position. He wants to try and help his teammate. The fighting at the back really helps with the teammates at the front. And player Gibbs has just set the fastest lap of the race, and we're still waiting for the first 6 to pit and the Asset, as the Asset starts to use the wet side of the track, because the track has got a dry line, and there was a bit of a moment there. We're just going to go quickly onto Phoenix. Jack Goring is catching up with Nemesis, but slowly backing off slightly as well. Phoenix is still trying to get that crucial overtake done, and is trying, as George is staying behind Jack Lemon. Ideally, he does not want to overtake, because that will they will end up having some sort of we've got some fastest laps going. Jack Goring has just stolen the fastest lap at a 1:30, so the track is getting better. So it wouldn't surprise me if the guys who haven't pitted are going to. And he looks, but there's just not enough traction for Phoenix to overtake. As I was saying, I think the guys who haven't pitted, they're going to probably. I don't think George has enough battery to fight this. I think George does not have enough to fight that, and let's see if George tries to take that position back. But I think the people who haven't pitted are going to look at probably medium tyre or something along those lines, to try and, because there's a dry line, they might be able to, but we will see. Now Phoenix is closing on Jack Lemon, so let's see how this pans out. Phoenix is closing that gap very rapidly. Let's hope Jack Lemon has that battery. He has a full battery, so that is going to be very crucial for the main straight. By the looks of it, he didn't burn that much battery, so Phoenix is burning that battery to try and get the overtake done, as he has a little bit of a moment there, and he's very close. So I think whoever has the best power, and they are wetting their tyres. Did not mean to do. There we go. So, does Jack Lemon try and re-overtake? He's got older tyres, so I think he will probably be boxing soon. We've still got about more than half of the race left, so I think Jack Lemmon, George, and Asset, they're not going to want to box. Well, not going to want to fight too hard because of those tyres. They're wanting to make them last. As a Phoenix charges away, already over a second ahead of Jack Lemmon. As for the front, Jack Goring is thinking about an overtake on Nemesis. As you can see, Nemesis just has better traction, better control of the car, whereas Jack Goring really wants this overtake. You can tell he braked a bit later and had a bit of a lockup, nearly went into the back of Nemesis. It is the closest battle on track right now. They've been at it for about 17 laps, just trying to race each other. If anything, they're racing in their own race at this point, because Claire Gibbs is having a nice quiet race behind, with 13 seconds away from them and has 10 seconds behind him. So he's just chilling as this battle goes on in front. The Asset looks to be gaining on George by the looks of it, but they won't be pushing to overtake too much. They might overtake, but ideally they want to save those tyres. They don't want to be fighting, as all the drivers are starting to come off the dry racing line, or the somewhat dry racing line, to make sure their tyres are keeping cool, because this dry line is really going to affect these tyres that they've got, as Jack Goring still stays within 1 second of Nemesis. Now, we have 3 people who have penalties at the moment, and none of them really will do much to the standings at the end, but we're still waiting for people to pit. And there was a little bit of a moment there. The car is a bit slidey, which will be because of wear and tear on the tyres. So in Hungary, your back left normally goes quicker than all your other tyres for some reason. So your car is slightly off balanced. As Phoenix is closing that gap rapidly on Tomo. I think Tomo should probably think about pitting in the next 2, maybe 3 laps. But also, he probably wants to fight Phoenix. Oh, and we've got movement at the back with Proven is closing that gap to Asset. Now the front runners should pit soon, because these back runners are slowly making a dent into the front. Now with the tyre offset, I don't know if people are doing a 3-stop race, because if they are, it will be interesting. So you've got your 7 drivers who went for the intermediates at the start still on those tyres, whereas the people who started on wets, they are now on inters, so their tyres are a lot nicer. They might have worn a little bit, but I think the rain is coming down a bit more. Oh, and there has been an overtake. Is that Nemesis in the pit? No, Nemesis has just been overtaken by Jack Goring. Let's go see this battle at the front. So Nemesis isn't fighting too hard, still fighting, but it's crucial these two work as a team, even though they're not a team, to keep that gap and to try and get out of Phoenix's way, or trying to keep Phoenix behind them both. So they'll be pushing. As you can see, Jack Goring is really pushing on that set of tyres, so this could probably be his in-lap, or it's Nemesis's in-lap, so he just didn't want to fight. And Phoenix is now 4 seconds away from Tomo. And neither of them pitted that lap, but they're still trying to keep their tyres cool by going on the wet line. Nemesis is trying to fight back. Now, Proven at the back in P9 has decided to stop pushing on that lap. He has widened the gap between himself and Asset, so Asset can breathe slightly. And Phoenix has just made the fastest lap of the race, so that means he's on a charge. He is ready to catch up with the leaders. We are currently waiting for these two top runners to pit. They are probably feeling the tyre wear about now, as Jack Goring is catching up to a back marker by the looks of it, unknown in the Haas. He's run a very quiet race at the back, and he goes into the pit getting rid of those inters. So I think Unknown is going for a 3-stopper, maybe a 4-stopper, because he has just got a 10-second penalty for speeding into the pits. Now, I think Nemesis is just going to wait at the back of Goring. He's not going to push. He will be boxing soon. I think all the 7 that haven't boxed, they will box this lap, I think, because look at the tyre wear. They must be feeling that tyre wear. 18 to 17 laps of this tyre wear. They are close to puncture range, and they don't really want that. And Proven at the back is getting closer and closer to Asset, so let's have a look at Proven. See how he does if he overtakes. And Nemesis on those older tyres, he has just made the fastest lap, so that tyre deficit isn't really affecting him, as Asset just had a little bit of a moment there, but still is able to be ahead of Proven. At the front, Nemesis is closing that gap, but not by much. So, and Phoenix has just set the fastest lap, and has broken the 3-second gap. Nemesis has made a mistake. He is now 1 second slower as Asset is being overtaken by Proven, who can brake later, and Asset is on the inside, who doesn't have enough traction to fight Proven. Now, do they try and re-overtake, which I don't think Asset has the pace to overtake, as he's still on the Inters from the start of the race. So, stops. These are the people who need to stop. Jack Goring, Nemesis, Player Gibbs, Tomo, Jack Levin, George, and the Asset all need to pit. Now they're lap 24. Now, are they going to try and get to lap 25, pit, and then have 10 laps on fresh Inters? Now, Asset is trying to keep up with Proven, but if he pits now, he will probably come out. Oh, and we have the first of the few people that haven't pitted go into the pits. That is Tomo in the pit, possibly coming out of the pits. Yep, he comes out of the pits in P9. Crucially, he needs to get those tyres up to temperature, because Case Breyer is 2 seconds away, as Unknown's just got a 3-second penalty. I wonder if this is a time. Oh, and Case Breyer's just overtaken Tomo. Tomo's not got those tyres up to temperature, and he is running harder tyres. So the track, I'm assuming, is feeling like it's good for hards. Now, I ideally wouldn't have pitted for hards. I would have pitted for some sort of softs. So he is definitely going to be struggling. Now, let's go see the tyres. Oh, Unknown already also pitted for hards as well. Now, Nemesis is in the pits, and by the looks of it, he has put Inters on. So, could it have possibly been a mistake for Tomo to put hards on? No, he's not gone to the pits. He has gone, carried straight on. So, it may have been a little mistake, but he's trying to warm up those tyres crucially for his race to try and gain some time. And at the front, Nemesis has just pitted. You got Player Gibbs on old tyres, while Jack Goring goes into the pits. He is currently P1 now. Does Nemesis have an undercut? But Player Gibbs is just holding Nemesis up as Player Gibbs gets overtaken. And Player Gibbs is now in the pits with Jack Goring coming out of the pits. Let's see. And by the looks of it, Nemesis had that undercut, so now he is back into P1 with Phoenix 5 seconds. Nope, not 5 seconds away. 8 seconds away. Going down 6 seconds away from Jack Goring. Now this is going to be a battle to watch on track, as George and the Asset have just pitted. Now I think they've all pitted into... Oh, we've got some people on mediums. Okay, this is going to be a very interesting strategy. We've got a mixed grid. People think it's still too wet to go on to mediums. So you've got Nemesis in P1. He is on the Inters with Jack Goring on mediums. Now, I don't know if that was if Jack Goring meant to pit for mediums. Same with player Gibbs, but that's just given Phoenix P2. So you've got to hope there's no more bad weather. As Jack Lemon just overtook player Gibbs, who again is on medium tyres, proven as just overtaken player Gibbs. So I don't think those medium tyres are getting up to speed very well. Now, Phoenix is about 13 seconds from Jack Goring. You've got Unknown, who is on hards. I think they're warming up a bit. Same with Tomos, should be warming up a bit. They're still going to be a bit of a struggle because it's still wet weather. Now we've got Phoenix going into the pits and getting those medium tyres, so it must be medium tyre is the best tyre as we get more people in the pits. Now we've got Jack Lemon, who's still not pitted. He is on medium tyres. Now here are the people who haven't pitted, and there's only one person, and he is in P3. Now, does he choose to pit this lap, or will he? We've got Hames going in for a pit, but Jack Lemon is the one that we want to know if he's going to go into the pits, because people are going to catch up to him very quickly, and he's been on those tyres for 27 laps, so he's probably feeling it. So he is probably going to put some mediums on. He will have the biggest offset of tyres. Same with Hames on the grid, so that might help him. Now, I think if Jack Lemon boxes, he will most likely... Nemesis is pitted, so he's probably getting those soft medium tyres on. Let's change this as tyres. Yep, Nemesis gets those medium tyres on, as Jack Lemon still stays out on those intermediates, while Case Fryer pits, and Jack has a little bit of a moment now. Is he thinking, I need to pit this lap, or is he going to keep going? Because he is really struggling on a dry track with intermediates, as Nemesis is now on the track and gaining on Jack Goring. Now, if Jack Lemon pits this lap, I think he'll be behind Phoenix because of the tyres itself. They are not liking the dry track, as player Gibbs is catching up to Jack Lemon on those mediums. So Jack really needs to go into that pit. Or is it just a ploy to back up the back of the pack? Nope, he is going into the pit, and he is probably going to get mediums. If not, he's going to get softs. Now, softs would be good because there's only, 6 laps left, and he is behind Phoenix, still in the pits. Do you think he'll get in front of Proven? I don't know. Let's see how far. No, I don't think he'll come out of in front of Proven. However, DRS is open, so if Jack Lemon gets out of the pits now, which I think he is on his way out of the pits, he now has the biggest tyre offset than most people on the track. It will help him try and catch Proven, and maybe even Phoenix, try and secure one of those top 4 or 5 positions. as for the front, Nemesis is still leading. He has a 3.5 second gap, with Phoenix rapidly closing in on player Gibbs. And George is catching up to Jack Lemon, so I don't know, they will be fighting for track position on this race. And Phoenix closing that gap to player Gibbs as well, as he sets the fastest lap at 1:25. With only 5 laps to go, Phoenix started in P2. Can he reclaim that P2, or will he catch the leader up? There is over 17 seconds if he wants to try and gain and overtake P1. That is who his fight is with today. The last week's race, not securing a P1 on the first race of the season. As Jack Goring has just stolen that fastest lap. Phoenix, I think, is struggling slightly with those tyres and the setup he has today. He is catching up with player Gibbs with the slipstream. Just, you hear the lockup, and then coming out of this corner, he puts a lot of power down, and you can hear the tyres screeching, not enjoying the track, as Jack Lemon has just gotten the fastest lap. Player Gibbs has just spun out, allowing Phoenix to secure P3, a podium position. Now Proven is catching up to player Gibbs. Player Gibbs has had a really good race, so hopefully he can push towards the end and get on the podium. Now Jack Lemon is closing up that gap as well. In the background, we just had an overtake from Tomo on K-Spire, while Nemesis takes the fastest lap at 1:24. Now K-Spire is going to try and push to try and get that P9 position, or for championship points towards his team Kip Sauber, and also for the drivers' championship. And he pushes too hard and spins out. We haven't seen some of these back markers much on the race, because we have been looking at the fights in front, while we have a fight going up in the front with Jack Lemon, as he is getting closer. Ooh, and he goes on a bit of grass. That's not going to help him in this fight. So what Jack is probably hoping that Proven goes off track limits, makes a mistake, spins out, so he can capitalize on this position. He wants to be in P5. He is fighting for that position. Now he has quite a bit of battery to burn, whereas Proven has about the same. No, Jack Lemon has more battery, so he could burn battery down this straight to see if he can get that overtake done. and by the looks of it, it's a three-way battle. You have player Gibbs in the front now. There will be there'll be DRS and there will be a slipstream, so there will be an overtake, maybe on Gibbs. No, Jack Lemon goes for that overtake. It was clean, and let's see if he can keep hold of that position. And by the looks of it, Proven didn't have much traction out of that corner, and Jack Lemon has secured P5. Now he is on a charge to get that P4 to then try and have clean air. Now Proven has just gone slightly wide, but is still trying to keep in the fight, while player Gibbs has broken that DRS on Jack Lemon, so that makes him vulnerable in the DRS straight. Now this battle will probably go on to the final lap, as Phoenix has just secured the fastest lap at a 1:22. Now Nemesis is got a very strong lead of 5 seconds from Jack Goring, and then there's about 14 seconds between Phoenix, which is very quick. Proven is slightly out of the fight, and player Gibbs has just taken that fastest lap. Jack had a slight moment, but is still okay. Case Spryer just had a 3-second penalty. So it will be all down to battery and who has the best traction. Now Jack Lemon has those better tyres. Will he capitalise on the better tyres? Player Gibbs is only 8 laps old. His tyres are probably starting to feel some of the wear, as the mediums normally last for about 16 laps, and we are on to the final lap. Now Proven is catching up with Jack Lemon, but he's in the fight, but he's not in the fight. He's just gone wide track limits, so we will head on to the leader, who has had an incredible race as he comes into the chicane. Proven and Jack Lemon switching the fastest laps. Now Jack Lemon does have the quicker tyres. Now that gap is decreasing but increasing. He's got this lap to... Oh, and there was a moment for Case Spryer by the looks of it, and as we go through the final few turns, Nemesis is about to cross the line after a brilliant race from him, securing that P1 position after fighting Jack Goring for a few laps before the pit stop. Now we have Jack Goring finish with Case Spryer behind. Phoenix is now crossing the line in P3. Brilliant work today with the fastest lap, and we have player Gibbs with Jack Lemon, who is unfortunately unable to overtake. He crosses the line with Jack Lemon behind. Then you have Proven crossing the line, and George crossing the line. Now you have a little bit of a battle going on between Tomo and the Asset, who are going to cross the line very shortly. Welcome in, Fox. He is 2025. Welcome to the stream, as we have everyone finish the race. A very, very good race from all the drivers today. Very interesting. Did expect a safety car, but there wasn't. So, a great podium with Nemesis, Jack Goring, and Phoenix. Nemesis is going to be pleased with that P1 finish due to finishing P1 last race, so he's got a strong lead. Phoenix finishing in P3 today after his P2 last week, and Jack Goring finishing in P2. I think normally you get your whole standings, but we're just waiting for that to sort itself out. But it was a great race today. Thank you guys for joining the stream on the Interservices Hungary round 2 race. Hope you guys enjoyed, and till next time, goodbye.